ahead and I'm going to get started. If you're new to the update, all the questions you need to ask, please ask afterwards, or better yet, you can just reach out to me directly if you have a question. So, happy Friday. It is Friday, September the 25th. I hope everyone had an amazing week, but more importantly, I hope you guys had a productive week. Before I get started, this update is brought to you by the good people at KW Philly. KW Philly is the #1 real estate brokerage in the city of Philadelphia. So if you need help buying a house, if you need help selling a house, or if you or a colleague is looking for a career in real estate, please let me know. I would love to make that connection for you. So today I'm going to give you an update on a few things. I'm going to give you an update on the stimulus package. I'm going to, give me a second, get that off the screen. I'm going to give you an update on the October 15th tax deadline for all my people who extended their tax return on April or July 15th because of COVID. The tax deadline is coming up in 20 days. Then also I'm going to talk briefly about the benefits of being an LLC. So as I mentioned, if you're watching this on IG Live, the slide that you see is the only slide that you'll see. On Zoom, I do have the full slides. So if you do want the full slides, just let me know. I'll email that out to you, or it should be with the recording if you view that in the email that comes out later today. So to get started, let's start on the stimulus package update. So last week I talked about the $2 trillion bill that was proposed by the House of Representatives called the March to Common Ground Act, which was created on September the 15th. So right after that update, unfortunately, the passing of the notorious RBG happened, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. So once that happened, if you listen to the news or what's been going on, it's been the Republicans, President Trump, is putting huge pressure to put a candidate through the process and get them appointed before the election. So because of that, the stimulus package has taken a huge backseat, unfortunately. So if you're unfamiliar about, the judges or give me a second. If you're unfamiliar about this process or why it's so important, there's only 9 Supreme Court justices, and and that's a lifetime position, meaning that once you get that position, that is, your position for life, unless you are forcibly removed or you retire. In, RBG's case, unfortunately, she passed away due to cancer. So like I said, because of that, the Republicans, President Trump, have been trying really hard. And I believe that President Trump should have a nominee on Saturday to push a candidate through the process. And because of that, Nancy Pelosi, the head of the Democrats, when you think of the House of Representatives, has not or will not put the stimulus package as a preference, as a first preference. They will, try their best to make sure, they're trying their best to make sure that the President Trump and the Senate does not appoint a Supreme Court justice before the election. So everything involved in the stimulus package, unfortunately, has been put to the side. But just to kind of briefly review what is included in the stimulus package, it's a $1,200 check, same as was before. The only difference this time being that it's $500 per dependent, and adult dependents are included. So last time it was limited to the amount, it was only limited to 2 dependents. This time is no limit on the amount of dependents, and you can also include adult dependents. But like I said last time, it's very important that to be able to get compensation for those dependents, they have to be claimed on your tax returns. And then for unemployment claims, probably a good amount of people probably received a letter from the IRS in regards to not receiving a stimulus package or not having the information necessary to give out a stimulus package. If you did receive that notice, please get with your accountant, or you can talk to me in regards to what you need to get that application or get your returns processed, get the IRS what they need so you can get your stimulus check before it expires. So you want to make sure that whether it's you or a colleague, that you make sure you pass that information on, because there is an expiration date on this. So, like always, included in that stimulus check is the Paycheck Protection Program. If you apply for this Paycheck Protection Program, there is a Form 3508 that you need to fill out 24 weeks after you receive the money. So, if once the stimulus package, came out, if you were one of the first applicants for that package, meaning that you apply within the first month, I highly suggest, like I said, you get with your accountant, financial advisor, or you can talk to us about filling out that form, because you do need to fill out that form in order for that PPP money to be free money. Here are other details involved around the stimulus package. I'm not going to, run, down the line, but I can tell you the main thing that's holding the stimulus package up. I can tell you the main thing that's holding this package up is the funding for state and local government. So the Mitch McConnell. Oh, give me a second. Somebody just came in. All right. So, not Mitch McConnell. I'm sorry, not Mitch McConnell. Steve Mnuchin and Jerome Powell. Steve Mnuchin is the Treasury Secretary, and Jerome Powell is the chairman for the Federal Reserve. And they sat in front of Congress, and both sides agreed that the stimulus package is needed. So I definitely have no doubt that a stimulus package will be issued. It's just, like I said, these key issues or these details that the Republicans and the Democrats are trying to come to mutual ground with. And like I said, the main one being the state and local government funding. Right now, it's about $500 billion proposed, which was a long shot. So before, if you followed the updates, at one point, the Republicans didn't want to give any money to the states. And that was because, for one, there was about $250 billion remaining from the last package. And another reason is Republicans have come out and said that the states that need it are badly managed and they don't want to bail them out. So right now it's about $500 billion, and Nancy Pelosi wants $915, and she is not budging from that. And like I said, with everything going on with the Supreme Court, the passing of notorious RBG, it seems that she's going to hold her ground a lot more firm until the election. So, I was optimistic that this deal will get passed, or this package will be approved by Congress, and it'll be money in people's and businesses' hands before the end of the month. But unfortunately, with the Supreme Court justice in this position that needs to be filled, and pressure on both sides, Republicans to try to fill this spot as soon as possible, the Democrats to try to delay that process, the stimulus package has been put on the back burner. So payroll tax deferral. So Trump's payroll tax deferral started not this week, last week on September the 1st. I have to update that slide. Only a few employers participated. So I've been getting a lot of calls, whether it's somebody saying like, hey, I looked at my paycheck this week and, I didn't get any more, meaning that they forgot to withhold the tax. And the reason why is your employer probably did not participate in the program. The only employer that had to participate in this program is the federal government. So if you're a government employee, you definitely, you had no choice. It was mandatory for you. And what will happen is you will see more of your paycheck because they'll withhold less taxes, but they'll have to double down in the new year from January to April. So please, be on the lookout for that, and know that, as you get those extra funds, your check will be a little slimmer come the next year when they're trying to double down and get some of that money back. So kind of moving to the taxes. So we got 20 days, people, 20 days until October the 15th. So if you extended your tax return, which I know a lot of people did, whether it was because everything that was going on or from a planning perspective, I had a few of my clients who made a certain amount of money in 2019 that would have excluded them from getting a stimulus check because their wages were too high. So of course, if you fell into that situation where your wages were too high in 2019 to get the stimulus check for 2018, you qualified. I know a lot of accountants, like I said, including myself, extended those returns so our clients can get an extra paycheck. So if you fall into this area, or if you know you just didn't file your taxes for the 2019 tax year, please, like I said, get with your accountant, financial advisor, or you can contact me. My information is on the slide, or you can reach out through social media, email, and phone call. So, kind of moving on. So we're heading to the fourth quarter. 5 days. Well, yeah, 5 days until October, which marks the start of the fourth quarter. This is the time where you need to take a step back, evaluate your business, and really understand, for one, are you on point to meet your financial goals? Meaning that if you set out to make 100 grand this year, by October 1st, do you have 75 grand in pocket? And if you don't, you need to either persevere, meaning that you need to hustle a lot more to try to reach that number, or you need to pivot and you need to lower that expectation for this year. And, if you're a business and, you fall into that category, please don't feel bad. A lot of business owners had to do that simply because of COVID and the decline of business. But this is definitely the time where you should be evaluating your business and making sure that you're on pace to meet your financial goals. So last week, I talked about the downsides of being a sole proprietor. I mentioned a few things regarding separation of assets. Whenever you talk about taxes, always control versus ownership. Where you're a sole proprietor, everything is in your name, so all of your assets are subject to liability, especially if you get any type of legal problems. So, also financial liability. Like I say, if you were to get sued, because you don't have that LLC, because you don't have that corporate structure that you have assets in, you'll be personally liable, and therefore, if you was in any type of judgment, somebody will be able to come after your personal assets. And then also, it shows that you're serious. As a sole proprietor, you won't be able to get a business bank account. I highly advise you not to indulge in any type of contractual agreements without that LLC. It's just, and above all, it just makes you look professional. If you're, depending on how much business that you're doing, not having a structure will show another business owner kind of where you are in business and your business acumen. So you definitely want to make sure you have some type of structure for the business that you're doing. Now, if what you're doing is a side hustle, meaning that majority of your income does not come from this source, then it's okay to be a sole proprietor. But I still advise that you get that LLC structure so you can protect your assets. So we talked about being a sole proprietor. So hopefully I got you thinking, all right, I'm about to start a business. I don't want to start on the wrong foot. What kind of business structure should I elect? What should I choose? And if you're listening to this and if you fall into that small business realm, and when I say small business, I say any business that is making under about $5 million, then the LLC may be the best structure for your business. So let's talk about the LLC for a minute. So the LLC, I'm gonna give you 3 reasons why the LLC is beneficial for you and your business. For one, the LLC gives you the same limited liability protection as a corporation. So you having an LLC, and let's say, you own a property, and, that person, that tenant, God forbid, fall down the steps and becomes paralyzed from the waist down. And then they sue you as the landlord. If you don't have that asset in the LLC, and if you're not accounting for it the right way, let's say, you don't have it in an LLC, it's in your personal name, then, a lawyer will be able to come after everything that you own. So you want to be able to separate your assets. So in the event, something like that does happen, everything that you worked for, all of your worth, everything that you own, it won't be on the table if you was to get into it. If you were to get into any type of trouble. The next thing that I want to the next point that I want to make about an LLC is you get the flow through taxation of a partnership. And what I mean by that is if you hear of corporation, you probably heard, or probably not, of double taxation. So usually when you have a corporation, what happens is the corporation, makes money, right? And then the corporation gives a dividend to their shareholders. That dividend, so that money, let's say a company makes 100 grand. That 100 grand is taxed at the corporate level. And then, what's left is given to, let's say, as an individual owner as a dividend on their personal tax return. That money will be taxed again. So, double taxation is a big reason, especially for small business, why you should avoid the corporate structure. Now, a corporation has its own benefits, but I'll talk about that in another update. But it's definitely, for certain people, it is a little bit more beneficial to create a corporation. Like I said, I'll talk about that probably not next week, but the week after. And then the next thing that I want to talk about, or the next point that I want to make about an LLC is, or a lot of people don't talk about, I don't hear them talk about, is the flexible management structure that an LLC has. And when you think about flexible management structure, this will only apply if it's not just you, if you have more than one partner, because a flexible management structure. Well, let me give a corporation for example. As a corporation, you're a shareholder, and as an LLC, you're a member, and that's very important when you're talking about the management structure and the allocation of profit and losses. So when you're a corporation and you're a shareholder, the profits and losses of a business have to be given to you proportionate to the shares that you own. So if you own 90% of the shares, then the income and loss from the corporation has to be given to you at 90%. Whereas though, if you're a LLC and let's say you go into it with three partners at, 33.5%, right? But let's say, one partner is really managing the business while you have the other two partners really being financial investors. With the LLC, it's flexible because you can say, all right, well, it's split 33%. Oh, I'm just going to mute you. It's split 33%, but in an LLC, what you can't do in a corporation, you can split the profits and losses separately or different than what their allocation is. So for example, you have a person who manages the company and you have the other two partners who are just investors, or say members who are just financial investors. You can put in the agreement, in the operating agreement, that the 33% partner who is managing the business should get 70% of the profits, whereas though the other two partners will only get 15%. You cannot do that in a corporate structure or in an S corporation structure. So, that's very important, especially if, like I said, if you wanted to start a business and you wanted to bring on partners. That's one thing that an LLC can do that an S corporation or a corporation cannot do. So if you're an LLC and you make that election, you can very well lose your election if you try to get creative with the allocation. And then, like I said, if you're a corporation, that's just something that you can't do. So if you ever need help applying for an LLC, that's what, me and my firm does. I work with a team of CPAs and advisors. And like I said, we specialize in financial management, tax planning and preparation, and business development. And within business development is forming a business, whether that's an LLC, a C corporation, a limited partnership, trust, so on and so forth. we can help you create that format. We can help you create that business structure, and as well as put your mind at ease by giving you the information necessary or information that you need to be able to move forward. I know a lot of people who may be new to business. Sometimes, I know a lot of clients who, without this knowledge, they probably would have went and got a corporation, maybe because that's all that they heard. And whether you're talking to me or you're dealing with your another accountant or your financial advisor, you should always challenge them into why shouldn't I create the other structures. So if you're dealing with an accountant and they every time you talk to them and say, hey, you should create an S corp for this, or hey, you should create an S corp for this, or oh, you need to create an LLC for this. You should be able to challenge them because you need that information as a business owner to be able to manage and grow your business effectively and protect your assets. So they say if you need help, like I said, creating a business, especially an LLC, S corp, corporation, trust, partnership, please let me know. Like I said, I work with a team of CPAs and accountants who can help you do that. So with that said, that is the update for the week. I'm going to kind of open it up for questions. I believe everybody is muted. I'm going to kind of unmute. So if you have any questions, please let me know. This is the time. I know a few people came on late, so like I said, we'll definitely have the recording sent out before the end of the day. See a few people still on here, so I'm gonna give you guys some time if you have any questions to ask regarding the upcoming stimulus package, or regarding the tax deadline or taxes in general, or business formation specifically regarding the LLC. All right, y'all. So with that said, I hope everyone has an amazing weekend. If you have any questions, my information is listed right here. And like I said, if you're on social media watching this on IG Live, you can send me a direct message, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. I hope everyone has an amazing weekend, but more importantly, I hope you guys take some time. Myself, usually on Sunday nights, take some time, plan for the week ahead. And, make sure that, plan your work and work your plan. Everybody have a great weekend. Talk to y'all next week. Peace.